Good morning. It is the Cotter and Marshall Show. Thank you for hanging out. Jump on that stream if you haven't done so yet. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. All right, it is time for Beer for Breakfast, brought to you by Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt. Some great live music this weekend. Damon and the S-Kickers going
I know
down
them.
tonight. Oh, great guys, man.
They're awesome.
We've got the Rush Tribute Project tomorrow night.
Okay.
I'm down for that, of course. So check out Coaches online at coaches.net. We're now joined in studio by Dave and Dave, Debellation Brewing Company, the latest brewery to open up in town. So happy to have one on this side of the area, over by my house. It's 15 minutes away. It is my new favorite spot.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a brewery so close to us. Because, most stuff's like downtown area. Now you guys open one up in Richmond Hill. I can get drunk closer to home, and I really appreciate that, gentlemen. So heartfelt thank you from the Cotter and Marshall Show.
Good morning. Welcome. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Now, let's kind of go back. Because, the start of this brewery, it came out, maybe 2 years ago or so? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been...
when we first heard.
Yeah, so I owned the Irish pub at the time.
Right.
And I was already home brewing for several years, and I really wanted to make my pub into a brew pub. But I had 40 employees, so I'm either brewing beer and still got 40 employees. So I decided to break from that and sell FIA and then do the actual brewery.
Yeah. And it's turned out well. Obviously, you had some trouble there with the pandemic, like everyone else did.
Yeah, that didn't help.
But
right.
Now that Debellation has come along, it's been really, really cool. Now, we were there for the opening back on April 9th. Thank you for having us, first and foremost. But we're very excited about the brewery itself. Now, you have tons of plans for this brewery in general, but the one that really got me when we talked that day was over the pandemic. I think you said you took some classes on building boats or something, or ships of some sort. Maybe you were just messing with me, or maybe you're just really drunk, or maybe you were kind of both. But you talked about building a Viking ship that would be kind of like on the 95, because the brewery itself faces the 95. Is that true? Are you going to build a ship and put it out there?
Yeah, I studied a little bit on the shipbuilding and how they used to do it back in ancient times. So we're gonna do something that's not necessarily seaworthy, but we're gonna do roughly a 24 foot ship, with a big dragon head, the whole thing on it, and we're gonna bolt that to a flatbed trailer so we can pull it in parades, and then we're gonna park it out in front, so you'll be able to see it when you drive by.
That's awesome. Can the dragon have glow up red eyes? Can you please make that happen?
I'm actually I'm trying to put in some kind of tube system where I can have smoke come out of the mouth and stuff. It'll be really theatrical. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You need to install taps in it. Then you can just pour beer out of the boat.
Way
instead of smoke,
way ahead of you. That's going to be at events too.
Okay, I like it. I like the way this
instead of the
is going.
smoke is just soddy beer just pouring out of its mouth. You get to drink it like it's the ice sculpture thing.
All right, so Dave, the other Dave, is the head brewer. Welcome. Now, how did you, or when did you get in on the process or get in on the timeline here of Debellation?
So I had parents that recently moved to Hilton Head, and so when I was visiting them, I actually was touring some breweries around here and looking I've come from Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
Love it, but it gets cold, and
I get that.
Wanted to see if I can find something closer to my parents. So I was looking for breweries, and someone actually at Southern Barrel in Bluffton happened to mention that a brewery was opening near Savannah, and so I looked it up and contacted Dave. Yeah, he basically said that he got it at 2 a.m. and basically was like, this just seems like, kismet, this is going to work and stuff like that. And came down here in February and kind of been rock and rolling since. Yeah.
Nice. Now, what was your experience before Debellation with brewing?
Yeah, so prior to this, I homebrewed like Dave for a while, for about 7 years, but then I decided I wanted to make this a legit thing. So I got into the American Brewers Guild.
Okay.
Did that for about a year. Did an apprenticeship at Southern Tier, which
nice.
that was
very cool.
Really big, yeah. And then basically I was a cellarman at Royal Docks in Canton, and basically head cellarman at Arche in Akron.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Is there a style of beer that you really enjoy brewing? You got a favorite one?
So actually, I brought one of my favorites and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
nice.
It's an amber, but I do a little twist on it. I basically hop it up a little more. It's almost IPA-esque and stuff like that, and dry hopped and yeah. So that's my favorite. I feel like it's a really well balanced beer.
Okay.
So are you more of a mad scientist brewer when it comes to like the exact details of it, or do you just like the idea of like combining the flavor combinations? Because if it was me or Cotter, I think we'd be like, what would oysters and peanut butter beer taste like?
That's me. Dave is meticulous about everything. Like when we're mashing in and there's like maybe 30 seconds left, I'll go push the button. Dave's like, don't touch that button. Let it count down all the way.
So it's a good combo because he does a little more of the art, and I like doing some crazy things too. But yeah, I am very meticulous, a little OCD, and I like get really into the books and make sure that everything is right. Water profiles, everything has to be just right. Yeah.
Okay, so both of you being home brewers, what's the weirdest thing you've ever brewed in with a beer?
Oh. So we did a Frankenstein beer once with all the leftover hops we had and grains. We're like, well, hell, we got enough to actually make a batch, but wasn't anything like a whole solid base. It was just a whole bunch of extra grains and a whole bunch of different hops, and they were all from all kinds of spectrums. And so we just threw it all together, and it was actually pretty decent because it was so like little pieces here and there. We didn't really write it down, so we couldn't ever replicate it. But it was just something we can get rid of, some old stuff we had.
Nice.
Now, with Debellation, you guys, what I love is like you're open every day. You open around, noon every day?
Right.
That is perfect. We get off the air. I got a place to go.
We've talked about this many times, and even today on the show. Day drinking is the best. Day drinking is absolutely the best. Now, obviously, we want people to go to Debellation Brewing Company later in the night, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. You guys obviously have trivia every Thursday, Thirsty Thursday trivia. And you got live music every single weekend. But for guys like Cotter and I, who wake up at 5 a.m. every day, drinking at like 1 o'clock until,
perfect.
I don't know, when the Uber shows up at about 4 is the best time to drink.
So you guys are just always open. So if people are wanting to check out, definitely can do so out in Richmond Hill. We're going to come back because you guys brought in 3 different beers. We're going to start with the Viking beer.
Yes.
We're going to get more details about what this beer is after this song, because this is just kind of a cool story behind it, where it came from. And it's a little bit different. It's not like something I hadn't experienced before. So more with Debellation Brewing on Beer for Breakfast, brought to you by Coach's Corner. Brand new Rise Against. This is Nowhere Generation. Rock 106.1. It is Beer for Breakfast, Cotter and Marshall Show. Of course, Beer for Breakfast brought to you by Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt. Check them out online, coaches.net. Damon and the S-Kickers tonight in the Soundgarden, and a Rush tribute band tomorrow. That starts around 7 o'clock. And all the details and your tickets at coaches.net. Of course, joined by Dave and Dave at Debellation Brewing out in Richmond Hill for Beer for Breakfast. And the very first beer we're going to try today, this is your Viking beer. Sati, is that how it's pronounced?
Technically, no.
Okay, no, correct me. It's fine. Correct me.
All right, nerd, tell us how.
I know. So I don't correct anyone, but it's technically Sakti, like a sock you would wear on your foot.
Oh, really?
And then tea, yes.
Okay, Sakti.
Yeah, Sakti, there you go. So this is the Viking beer. Dave, can you tell us the story behind this beer?
Yeah, so some archaeologists at one point had found a boat, a sunken Viking ship, and there was beer barrels on this boat. They knew had beer in it, obviously, but unfortunately no real beer. But they scraped it inside, and they found out what was actually in that barrel, and they found the juniper and the different malts that were in there.
Right.
So it made a lot of news around the world. So a lot of brewers were interested in brewing this beer. But Sati has been the oldest continuous brewing beer in history.
Okay.
It goes way back, to ancient times, and it's still being brewed today. But I think we're the only one in the South have one right now.
That's awesome. So this beer, once again, it's the Viking Sakti.
Sakti, yes.
Yeah, okay. I didn't terribly mess that up. Is what we're trying for our first beer for breakfast. This is, once again, the ancient Viking beer, according to your website. I did some research, guys. I did research for this interview. The rye, pills, and Munich malts are in this. And, of course, this is it filtered on juniper berries, or just has juniper berries in it?
So basically, the way that they did it, and we kind of try to do it, is they use juniper berry branches to actually filter the beer, so that juniper then came through. So modern times, and so we have what's called a false bottom on the bottom of our mash tun to filter everything out. They didn't have that, so they actually were smart enough to actually take these juniper berry branches and then filter their mash with them.
Smart. Vikings are smart.
Yes.
All right, so what kind of things should we be getting with this beer, from like the nose to the taste? What can we expect with something like this?
Okay, so my version is a little stronger, and this one's actually stronger than the one you guys had last time.
Yes.
So this is 8.3%. It is you're gonna get like almost a spiciness from that rye and that juniper. Yes, they call it a berry, but it's it's more of a woodsy, piney almost.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very complex. You'll get a lot of different flavors from beginning to end.
All right, let's go ahead and stick our nose and let's get a big old sniff. It smells delicious.
It really does.
Yeah, I mean, it almost smells like a Belgian kind of. I mean, you get kind of a clovey sense to it. I mean, it's fruity in the nose. How else would you describe it?
No, I think Belgian is spot on. I mean, that's what I think of when I smell this beer. It definitely has that scent to it.
Yeah, and now holding it up to the light, when you hold the Sakti up to the light, I mean, it doesn't look like there's any carbonation running through it. I mean, kind of got that goldenish, reddish brown kind of color, amber, I guess you could say in a way. But that's right up to the camera, so everyone on this live stream could check it out as well.
All right, so let's drink, guys. Cheers.
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 As we say, skull.
Skull. Yeah.
Skull.
Drink from the skulls of our enemies.
That just it's just so smooth from beginning to end. I mean, like there's no harsh, bitter tones to it. It's smooth. You got the sweetness, like I said, almost a little bit of a clove feel from like a banana style thing. But where does the banana? Is that coming from? One of the malts, or
That's actually coming from the yeast.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep. It's a similar yeast to basically what you'd get in a Hefeweizen, a German Hefeweizen. It gives
Perfect.
you kind of that, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's grade this thing out. Cotter, on the beer scale of supremacy, what do you give the Viking Sakti from Debellation Brewing Company?
I really like this beer a lot, and I think like you said, super smooth. It is very complex. I mean, so if I would let it sit here and let it warm up a bit, am I going to get kind of a different experience with this beer?
Yeah, I feel like that's the reaction we've gotten from a lot of people is every time they take another sip, they kind of get something else out of it. So
Right.
yeah, I'm actually very surprised. I didn't know how people would approach this beer, but
Right.
people seem to really love it. So
Yeah.
They approached it by chugging it.
I wouldn't recommend it. 8.3.
8.3, probably not the best of ideas. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 because I mean, I don't have anything to base this beer off of. You know, it's a completely different experience.
100%.
But the first time when I had it out at the grand opening, I'm like, I really like this beer, and it's like it is multi-layered, and you're getting different things out of it. So I mean, solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah, from version 1.0 that we tried a month ago to version 2.0, there's definitely been a jump in this beer, and you can definitely tell. I mean, I like it even more, honestly, at this point. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 4.2 out of 5. This is a beer that I go to Debellation Brewing Company, drink a bunch of, and then have someone hopefully drive me home, because this thing, once again, comes in at 8.3% alcohol. Now, guys, I know you're a little biased, mostly because you made the beer, but let's start off with Dave, the owner. Dave, what would you give your very own beer, the Viking Sakti, on the beer scale of supremacy?
It's its own category. I mean, and I've never had anything like this before Dave came along either. You know, I've had all kinds of beers, but this is a first for me.
Yeah.
So I like it. I'm typically a stout guy, darker beers, but I really do like it. I have to agree with. I'm right there probably with Carter with about a 4 out of 5 on that. You know, I think Dave here would probably critique his beer a little bit more and be a little more critical of it.
All right, so Dave, the other Dave 2.0. What would you give this beer on your side of things? Look, you brewed it. You can give it a 5. We've done it. We've seen that before. It's
It
okay.
happens.
No, you don't give your beers 5. there's always room for improvement.
That's right.
But no, yeah, I agree. Around that 4 areas, I think pretty good.
Wow.
You said it's tough because how do you rate a beer that you don't know what to compare it to?
Right.
You know, if you never have had a Sakti before, you know, yeah, it's tough to actually compare it to anything else. So. But yeah, I like it. I'm going to keep working on it and seeing what we can do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an awesome beer. Definitely one to be checked out when you go to Debellation Brewing Company.
All right, I'm excited to see what's coming up next. We'll get to that after these. Cotter and Marshall Show, Rock 106.1. Thank you for hanging out, getting that stream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Beer for Breakfast, brought to you by Coach's Corner in Thunderbolt. Some great shows this weekend. Damon and the S-Kickers tonight in the Soundgarden. And then, man, I'm gone all day on Saturday, but I really want to head out Saturday night for the Rush tribute.
I think take your whole family. It's all ages, right?
I don't know, but I kind of want to go.
Just go.
I might go. Rush Tribute Project.
Tell your wife you're taking her out to a fancy dinner and just take her to
Take her
Coach's.
to Rush.
And be like, look, we got chicken wings, baby.
She can't eat them.
And then Rush.
Rush Tribute Project, Saturday night, Coach's Corner. Get more details at coaches.net. Of course, joined in studio by Dave and Dave, Debellation Brewing. Let's hit up the address because we had a couple people wondering where it was. So if you want to check them out, they're at 822 Longwood Drive in Richmond Hill. And we're saying you're off like basically a frontage road. You're going to get off 95. You're going to turn at this gas station, and then you're going to just drive, and you're just going to keep driving and keep driving and keep driving, and then you're eventually on the right.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's right off of exit 90, right off the 95. So yeah, when you get off, you take a right, you take another right, boom, you're right there after about a mile and a half or so. But Debellation Brewing Company, I mean, what you guys are doing to the building itself and what it was from the point it is now, it's really cool because the moment you walk into the front door, you see a very large mural of like this Viking on a ship, and then like you take a couple steps forward, and it's like at the perfect length from where the top of the bar is. So it's like you guys painted
all
that
planned
thing.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Like you are a big time long-term planner guy. I could tell just with how that kind of worked out. Now, when it came to the build of Debellation Brewing Company, I mean, the point it's at now. Did you ever expect it to look like it looks now, or are you just like?
I had
stunned?
an idea. Well, I had an idea of a vision of, and I would do like Photoshop renditions inside. Like I want the back wall painted this way, and what it would look like, and that's on our Facebook page if you look through some of the posts. But I had a general idea of what it was. I wanted to do a lot of the. If you notice on our bars, I got the log slices on it in the wall. Originally, that was actually going to be halfway up all the walls, log slices, but it was going to take like quite a long time to get that done. So
Right.
A lot of changes were made, but generally speaking, it's where I wanted it to be.
Awesome.
Now you have all the detail woodworking that's done inside the bar, and your wife did that, right?
She did all, like if you go inside the door casings and the window casings, my wife did all that with a Dremel.
That's crazy.
All the tap handles with a Dremel.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, I mean, the whole look and feel of it is just great. You walk in, and you're like, all right, this is the place I'm hanging out.
Yeah, and you could tell, like, long term, when this place really comes around, I mean, it's not like it hasn't come around yet, but when this thing gets a year, 2 years, 3 years deep, Debellation Brewing Company, it's not going to look like anything that you even know it as now. It's going to be so much different. You told me some of your long-term plans. It's going to be ridiculous.
It'll look like a Viking Great Hall. Yeah, when we're really done with it, it's going to look awesome.
No, that's going to be great.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump into our second beer we're reviewing today, or technically our third if you're watching the stream. But here's our second beer today. This is the Amber, right?
Yes.
Does this have an official name, or are we just calling this the Amber?
Well, let's just call it the Amber for now.
We're gonna call this Dave's Amber.
Yeah. Or a dry hopped amber. Yeah.
All right, so so you said this was a little bit different because of the dry hopping, right?
Yep. It's a little more bitter than a typical amber, bordering on an IPA.
Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
Interesting. All right, well, let's go ahead and start the review process. Let's take a big old sniff of this.
Oh yeah, you definitely get the nuttiness and earthiness of the amber in there, and a little bit of that the hoppiness on there as well.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. Like in an amber, you're not expecting that hoppiness, but there it is, right there in the nose. Holding it up to the light in the amber, and I'm trying to hold it up for the camera here for anyone who happens to be watching the live stream. I mean, color-wise, you're just looking at
spot on, man.
Just a copper color with some mild carbonation running through. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and drink.
Cheers. Skull.
Skull.
I'll remember eventually.
We drink from the skulls of our enemies.
Ooh. Oh man. Okay. So I initially, when I had my first couple amber beers, I'm like, nah, not for me. Just I didn't like the nuttiness of it or whatever. I'm just like, no.
Too much nut. You've always said that. You never liked that.
But I eventually, I came to appreciate the beer and like it a lot more, and it kind of became something I was drinking there for a while. I'm all for adding hops to about anything. Pilsner, hoppy stuff, whatever. This whole nother level with the hops to it. You got the nuttiness of your traditional amber, and then on the back end, that hop and bitterness comes through, almost like straight up IPA. Dude, that's solid again.
There's a lot going on in this beer. Because, I mean, once again, if you didn't know it had that hop in there, I mean, it's weird because it's like two beers in one. It's like a BOGO. You bought an amber and you got an IPA, in the process of
It's
it.
like you combine an IPA with an ESB.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, 100%.
Very interesting stuff. All right, let's go ahead and grade this one out, Cotter. On the beer scale of supremacy, what do you give the Dave's Amber? That's what I'm calling it.
This is my favorite beer out of the three, so I'm going to go 4.2. I really like this beer a lot. I want to just go and drink this all day.
Wow. Wow.
Dave just got a half chub for that.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Did you guys just fall in love?
Maybe. You never know.
There's way too much nut in this room.
It's still early.
All right, Dave, what do you grade out the Dave's Amber?
As an IPA fan, I really do like it. Early days, I was always like a Killian's. I love reds and stuff and ambers. But I really like this one because it does have the extra hoppiness. I'm on a 4.3, 4.4 on this one.
Nice.
Of the three, this is probably my favorite one.
All right. Well, 2 out of 4 here on the best beer of the day. Dave Green, head brewer, Debellation Brewing Company. What do you grade your very own Dave's Amber? That's my name, not yours.
Yes. So based on brewing this in the past, I'm actually going to rate this like a 3.8.
Oh,
this can get better. We have a supply shortage in some areas, and I actually had to use some different malts and different things like that. Like,
I could tell.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, no, this, like I said, this is one of my favorite beers, and I think it can get better. So.
he returned the favor, because if this is not what it can be, I've got a chubby now.
Wow.
So see, we are. You never know what's happening.
There's a whole lot of love in this room. It is getting very, very hot. This amber, this IPA amber, Dave's Amber, as I like to call it, very interesting. I mean, like, it's not what you expect when you go, or like, oh, I'll have the amber, and it's like, it's weirdly hoppy for an amber. It's different. And
almost a red IPA.
Yeah, it's a red IPA. It kind of like throws you off a little bit, and I like that. I love the surprise of that because it's not exactly what you're thinking. I'm going to give this one a 3.9. I agree. Lots of room for improvement, Dave. But you know what? This beer,
you can smack him. It's fine.
This beer, like all of them, have been really solid, and it should get everyone excited about visiting Debellation Brewing Company.
All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it so much. We love the place. We love going to drink there. We can't wait to see what you guys got next. And Saturday, I'm there for the habanero, the mango habanero.
Oh, make sure to save us some. Don't let it sell out before we get there.
We have plenty of that one. Yeah, the mint was just small, but this one's plenty.
All right, before we get out of here, so let's hit up the address again, 822 Longwood Drive, Richmond Hill. If people want more information, website, socials, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Right, so Instagram, Facebook, website, debellationbrewing.com.
Okay.
So any of those will connect to our social media.
Yeah,
perfect.
Absolutely. I'll drop the link in the chat today too. If you're watching us on the chat, I'll drop a link so you guys can find them as well.
Awesome. Dave, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Yes,
all right, going to come back, wrap up the show next. Cotter and Marshall, Rock 106.1. Hey guys, it's Cotter and Marshall from Rock 106.1. Thank you so much for watching our stupidity online.
Daily. We appreciate it. So make sure that you like and comment and subscribe. It's down there somewhere. We're not exactly for sure. We do appreciate it. And, of course, more content always coming soon.